Elon Musk is calling for the prosecution of Dr. Anthony Fauci. All his confidence in vaccines is starting to unravel. We're going to take a look at what's behind both the call for prosecution and the loss of confidence. We're going to see how they're both intimately related, and make sure to stick with me to the very end of this video when I'll reveal how things are about to get a whole lot worse for Fauci. You are not going to want to miss this. You may have heard about the tragedy that happened during Monday Night Football game last night. 24-year-old Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills remains in critical condition as of the making of this video after he collapsed on the field mid-game from what doctors are now calling a cardiac arrest. Now, given that Hamlin is hardly the first young, healthy, physically fit athlete to collapse on field, it didn't take long for people to begin inquiring as to Hamlin's vax status. As it turns out, it does appear Hamlin was vaccinated, apparently only days ago. The Buffalo Bills is a 100% vaccinated team. And already a number of people, like former Major League Baseball player Lenny Dykstra, are arguing that this, according to them, is yet another athlete-related adverse reaction to the vaccines. Now, of course, in assessing such opinions, it goes without saying, I'm not a doctor. Well, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a doctor. I spend my time in libraries, not laboratories. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a virologist. But what I am interested here is what appears to be the growing public perception that's turning against vaccines and the pharmaceutical companies and the science is settled disposition and rhetoric. Take a look at this poll. It just came out today, Tuesday, January 3rd. It was conducted by Rasmussen. In a survey of over 1,000 adults, nearly 1 in 3, 28%, claim they know someone they think died from COVID-19 vaccines. It's nearly 30%. 49% of those surveyed believe that it's likely that side effects of COVID-19 vaccines have caused a significant number of unexplained deaths. And not surprisingly, 28% of those believe that it is very likely that's the case. Now, these public perceptions are happening against the background of an increasing number of official and scholarly investigations into possible adverse reactions to the vaccinations, such as the 2021 investigation by Japanese scientists in the causal relationship between vaccine usage and deaths, though the conclusions from that study remain ambiguous. And interestingly, so-called vaccine hesitancy isn't limited to a bunch of, MAGA people in the United States. China is having a huge problem with anti-vaxxers. A number of boosted citizens is dropping dramatically in China. Nearly 90% of the Chinese population is reported to be vaccinated, but the number that have chosen to get the boosters has dropped to half of that. And again, the primary reason cited for not getting the booster is people increasingly don't trust the vaccines. They're increasingly worried about adverse side effects. Again, for right or for wrong, this is the perception. This is what appears to be a growing perception. And then, to top it all off, Elon Musk has entered the fray, calling for the prosecution of Dr. Fauci. And he doubled down on that. Right after he fired off that tweet, the retired astronaut, and as it turns out, woke activist Scott Kelly took issue with Musk, claiming his pronouns were prosecute Fauci. And he tweeted in response, Elon, please don't mock and promote hate toward already marginalized and at risk of violence members of the LGBTQ community. They're real people with real feelings. Furthermore, Dr. Fauci is a dedicated public servant whose sole motivation was saving lives. And Elon just wasn't having any of that. He tweeted back, quote, I strongly disagree. Forcing your pronouns upon others when they didn't ask and implicitly ostracizing those who don't is neither good nor kind to anyone. As for Fauci, he lied to Congress and funded a gain-of-function research that killed millions of people. Not awesome, in my opinion. So what's going on here? For months, we were told that anti-vaxxers and anti-Fauci voices were just a fringe minority of extremists, nothing more. Now we got polls that show that nearly 1 in 3 people believe they know someone who died from the vaccine. We got both Japanese researchers looking into adverse reactions as well as the Chinese government facing revolt by nearly half their citizens who are refusing to get boosted. And we've even got the richest man on the planet calling out Fauci on behalf of tens of millions of Twitter users who share the same exact opinion. What is going on here? Well, before we answer that, I do want to invite all of you to join my exclusive Insiders Club for a censorship-free video platform where I discuss topics I can't share on YouTube. In fact, just last night, our Insiders Club members had the opportunity to ask the one and only Mike Lindell their very own questions for our very first exclusive live stream of the new year. That's right, you can do just that every single week. Just click on that link below and join our Insiders Club today. And as a special Christmas offer, sign up now, get a 14-day free trial to try it out. Plus, I've got several bonus resources I'll add on just as a thank you for joining my Insiders Club community. So don't wait. Click on that link below. Go to insidersclub.turleytalks.com right now and join me and thousands of patriots around the world. That's insidersclub.turleytalks.com. I believe this call to prosecute Fauci and the erosion in confidence in the vaccines are actually intimately related. What we have to understand is that scholars have noticed a profound sense of alienation opening up between ordinary citizens and our political class. It appears increasingly aloof and removed from those citizens' concerns and values. Now, there are many reasons for this opening alienation, but scholars such as the British sociologist Colin Crouch have observed that globalization, by its nature, disembeds or dislocates political decision-making away from the local and recalibrates that around a translocal, often transnational group of centralized political elites. And so because of these globalist technological disembedding processes, the gap between the people and their supposed representatives is in many ways larger than ever. And scholars have noticed that this widening gap between the people and the permanent political class, as it were, has contributed not merely to a sense of political apathy among citizens, where their participation in voting or in civic affairs has very alarmingly declined over recent years. That's certainly concerning. But apathy is not the only consequence of this alienation. A very definite sense of distrust and disgust has arisen among a significant portion of the population. It's not just on the political right. We're seeing it on the left as well, as Tulsi Gabbard's recent rejection of the Democratic Party amply demonstrates. And so what we're seeing play out here in both the distrust of vaccines as well as the disgust in some of our leaders is in many respects the consequence of this growing alienation between the people and the political class. It's not merely a matter of distrust. Because they're so aloof, because they're perceived as dictatorial in that political decision-making is now being imposed from the top down, our leaders are increasingly seen as malevolent. They don't have our best interests in mind precisely because they rule according to their own interests. And here's the key. As long as that gap, that alienation remains or even grows, distrust and disgust will continue to grow as well. So in many ways, when all's said and done, when it comes to calls for prosecution as well as vaccine hesitancy, in many respects, we ain't seen nothing yet. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on whether Kevin McCarthy is doomed and the 5 things to watch for in his quest to become Speaker of the House. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.